Rob Ford is Professor of Political Science at the University of Manchester and looks at polling data and surveys of public opinion.
A decade ago, if you asked people, do you think immigration is a positive for the economy, you would have about 25-30% say yes. If you ask that question in the last couple of years, it's more like 50% saying yes. People can see the case for it a lot more now than they used to.
And do we know why that is?
What people seem to care about is whether or not they feel the government has control over the immigration system. What people want is a set of rules that are implemented fairly. And they feel that the system that's been brought in since Brexit is a fairer system. It's a system of national control rather than a system of people coming in from the EU and the government just having to react to that.
When you say that, though, what evidence do we have to suggest that? How do we know that people are thinking, yeah, I think the government's got it control now, we've got an immigration system that works?
Well, I mean, one question that's been asked for quite a while is, what's more important to you, that we bring numbers down or that we exercise control and have a fair rules-based system? And people consistently say what they want to see is a fair rules-based system. So if you ask them directly, they say the rules matters more than the inflows. A second point of evidence in favour of this is, as I say, the timing. Attitudes became much more positive after the EU referendum. The share of voters saying they were worried about immigration fell a great deal after the EU referendum.
But having said that, Professor Ford admits most people will say the numbers coming in are too high.
If you ask people about the numbers in the abstract, do you think immigration is too high or do you think it's too low? Quite a lot of people will say, I think it's too high, perhaps it could be a bit lower. The number who say that has come down a bit, but it's quite a substantial share of the public. But then if you ask about the groups that actually make up the migrant inflow, the biggest groups in that number, students, migrants from Ukraine, migrants into the NHS and other parts of the labour force, migrants from Hong Kong, they're positive about all of these large subgroups. So on the one hand, they say the number's too high. On the other hand, they say all of the groups who are coming in and making up that number, I'm happy with.